Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? It is Tubo Player Negative AE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last we left off, we were just in the middle of talking about Ooishi-san and why he's following Satoko around and stuff like that. And I guess Mion is like, hey, interrupting our conversation. Of course, the less information we have, the better, it seems like in this game. And we're gonna see. I don't know. This will give us more information, so maybe this is like better information to know about. I'm sure that we'll see. Ren and Rika-chan came running in a few steps behind her, then Tomita-kun and Akumura-kun and a few more of our classmates.
Kei-chan, Ooishi ni yarareta no?
Oh.
怪我を
Okay, so it's nothing major.
落ち着いてミオンさん、怪我はありませんよ。念のため疾風しているだけです。
I think it would be cool if they like accepted me into demonhood in one of these episodes.
ケイチ君、本当に大丈夫かなみんなに聞いたら首を絞め上げられてたとか言ってて。
落ち着けよレナ。肩をすげえ痛く握られただけ。ほら、あざだってないだろ。
みー。たく、あんたら何やってんだよ。仲間だろ。なんでぼーっとしてたんだよ。なんでケイちゃんを助けなかった。ごめんなさい、委員長。
Yeah, and yelled at our classmates, baring her fangs. Tomita-kun and the others hung their heads in silence.
よせよミオン。富田君たちはその場にいなかったんだ。責めるのはよせ。
くしょう。大石のやつ。
Yeon kicked the floor with her heel a few times, her temper running hot. Our teacher, overhearing the commotion, arrived as well.
こらこらこら。保健室で騒がしくしてはいけません。委員長、みんなを連れて保健室から出なさい。ほらみんな。もう行こう。ケイチ君は大丈夫だって。ほら、みーちゃんも。
Yeon was letting her emotions get the best of her, so Rena stepped in instead and let everyone out of the nurse's office. The detective from Okinomiya Station, Kurado Ooishi. It looked like the first impression I'd gotten from him hadn't been mistaken. Satoko's absence had amplified the vague apprehensions I'd felt since yesterday, and Ooishi's appearance basically sealed the deal.
さて、じゃあ私はもともと千恵先生に用事が。
あ、用事があって学校に来たんですよね。俺なんかのためにどうもすみませんでした。
Don't be so humble, he said, smiling easily.
おかげで役得と言いますか、前原くんのきめ細やかなお肌も存分にハフー。
Is this fucking what's her name's dad? Rena's dad. With the usual, for Coach anyway, parting words, he instead continued.
では、大した怪我ではありませんが、患部を揉んだりするような、もしも高熱が出たり腫れたりそんなことはないと思います。
あ、そうだ監督。さっきみんなが来る直前、大石のことをお社様のなんとかって。
As he was about to leave the nurse's office, Coach placed a hand on the door and stopped.
ああ、お社様の使いですよ。もちろん悪口ですがね。
お社様の使い？
前原さんはひなみ沢で毎年綿流しの夜に起こるひなみ沢村。
連続開
This
始。
is where we learn about the freak deaths. All right, get ready for a lot of recapping. I'm gonna look for similarities and differences, but I'm pretty sure they're just gonna relay to me that, oh, okay, Toko's parents died. There was the person. It all started with the dam. Blah blah blah. On the festival day in June, one person would always die, and another person would always be spirited away, but they seem to call it demoning away here. What a fine story it was. I figured they made it up to scare me, but if it was true...
一体いつの頃からか、おい、
なぜですか？
あの男がと噂されているからです。
Whenever June came around, Ooishi would start paying frequent visits to
亡くなっ
Hinamizawa.
たり消えたりする人たちの多くがあの男の必要な訪問を受けているからです。
4 years ago, it was known as the victim of dismemberment. Remember, the sacrifice had been seen Ooishi numerous times leading up to the incident. Three sacrifices years ago were Satoko's parents. Right before their accidental deaths, Ooishi's had apparently visited their home. The one who disappeared 2 years ago was Rika-chan's mother. And again, people know that before she vanished, Ooishi had been talking to her extremely frequently. The one who disappeared last year, Satoko's older brother Satoshi. Satoshi too had apparently been approached by Ooishi many times before he vanished. And then this time Ooishi was trying to contact Satoko.
冗談じゃないです。
噂ですよ。そういう噂がある。
I hadn't said that because of the rumors Ooishi's. Okay, so this is different. I like it. I don't know whether to say it as fact, given that the other two games have been bullshit. I guess I don't know what the comparison is. I like my first theory of that we don't know what's happening. Like these could be different like timelines, I guess, for some reason. I don't know. They could pull anything out of their ass at this point. Like there's just enough mysterious air
欠席したじゃないですか。
for them to pull anything out.
え、そうなんですか。
I had thought he might know why Satoko was absent today, but
では失礼します。前原君も早く。
そうです。そうします。
pushed left the nurse's office and headed towards the teacher's lounge. At the end? We have a halfway point? I think we might have. Either way, we got some tips to read at the end of this chapter. I don't know. Satoko was absent. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that means. I'd be curious to find out where she went. I'm sure they'll tell us eventually. Alright, let's check it out. We got some notes and memos, stuff for me to read. The Hyojo family. Ooh, I like this. Here we go. Every year, Oishiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. This means that 4 years in a row, there might have been... That with 4 years in a row, there might have been 8 now, but it's worthwhile to note half of them have been members of this family. The curse on the second year, a certain falling accident involved the death of Hyojo, a dam proponent, and the disappearance of his wife. He was pronounced dead. Wait. Does that mean that, does this mean that the Hyojos were, like, part of the dam thing? Like, they, well, I know they were part of it. Like, they didn't... What am I trying to say? Did they lead it? Is that what's going on? Because I knew that they were like for it, right? Like they didn't care. The curse in the 4th year involved the death of Hyojo's sibling's aunt, who was then their foster mother, and the disappearance of the elder brother. The Hyojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hyojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon re-employment via family connections, there's a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hyojo, the eviction due to the Hinamizawa Dam project and payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall. Mr. Hyojo aggressively accepted the Ministry of Construction's negotiations from an early stage and selected others from Hinamizawa who were also dam proponents. It was rumored he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown. However, the dam's proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthened its own foundation and promised support against the dam, all the proponents, save for Mr. Hyojo, switched to the anti-dam side. Okay. At this point, Hinamizawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hyojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam project's proponents. He was essentially used as a scapegoat for the anti-dam coalition. In the end, the dam project collapsed with Oyashiro-sama's curse and the dismemberment incident. However, punishment towards the bitter enemy supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left who supported the dam project, nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there are any candidates left for the curse, it's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Tepe Hyojo, and Mr. Hyojo's daughter, Satoko Hyojo. Strangely, these two are the only candidates left. Will this year's curse come down on the two of them? There's more than enough value in observing them both. As much as I want to believe that Ooishi is the bearer of everything, and like he's the one, he's like the death, he's like the Grim Reaper of everything. I don't know if I do, because he could just be investigating the lead. Obviously, if it's predictable as like Satoko's family and like not many other people, and the only people left are Satoko and the other. Of course, he's gonna investigate them before. Like, obviously, he has this information, right? I mean, if he's a detective and he's doing his job. But I don't know. I feel like this is the episode where they like invite me into their demon culture, and I hope that's what it is. That would be fucking cool as fuck, because then you would get all the answers. Think about that. Like, oh, you got invited to demon culture, get all the answers to every question. Ooishi-san, there was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigeharu. Shigeharu? Apparently, the slaughter corpse in what the fuck? Ojikawa River is related to the S group as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filed up dozens of self-created fictional bank accounts to limit their limits, with money from the S group reaching around 100 million yen. It appears there were 3 or 4 men with former S group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information, and she was clearly slaughtered as an example to others. There are apparently some real wizards chasing down the people who disappeared. They're also spreading letters to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's still no evidence that Tepe Hyojo is one of those people. From what Chief Shigeharu has seen, there's nothing's been announced. For such a dependent, the man wasn't trusted at all. Tepe Hyojo has left his apartment, Okinomiya, and has returned to his former residence, Namizawa. Oh, is that what happened to Satoko? Like, her dad came back and was like, hey. That would be real weird. That'd be very weird. Alright, let's continue.
北条さんは今日も古出さんは何か知っていますか
The teacher's voice wasn't critical, but Rika-chan hung her head, unable to answer, and I felt really bad for her. New song? That's a new song. The teacher called Rika-chan up, and they had an exchange in hushed tones at the dais. At first, Rika-chan said Satoko's fever had gotten worse, but everyone in class knew it was a lie. Because every day, Rika-chan brought Satoko's bento with her.
さとこちゃん
俺が知るかよ。
I'm the one who wants to know most of all. It was already the 3rd day since Satoko's first absence. Ever since then, I haven't felt good. Jesus, the song. These songs really let you know that they're there. Until last Sunday, everything had been so much fun. I had reached out to Satoko like a real older brother, and we spent that time quietly but warm and comfortable. So why had it suddenly been flipped over? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that the world had taken a turn for the worse ever since Ooishi had arrived. Thinking on it now, maybe the strange apprehensions plaguing me the night before Ooishi arrived had been a sign. Kurado Ooishi, Oyashiro-sama's servant.
そう。あいつが現れたから、サトコが今年のタタリに会う役だなんて決められてたまるかよ。
What?
What?
あいつが現れたからサトコが今年のタタリに会う役だなんて決められてたまるかよ。
What?
The
サトコが今年のタタリに会う役だなんて決められてたまるかよ。
teacher Also, Rena fucking went apeshit when I mentioned Satoshi or whatever, right? So, like, Rena's a problem in this one. The only one she wasn't a problem was the second one. The first, and it looks like the third one now, she's going to be a problem. Yeah. Jian, Mion, and Rena had spoken of the curse surrounding Satoshi and his disappearance, and it was so sinister that it gave me a bad premonition. This is also why I think that there are separate timelines, and that we're not going through them in order. Right? Like, something happens at the first timeline that triggers all these other branches, and, like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, make sense of this all, but they don't give me enough information to make sense of it all yet. Such a small thing was the slip-up that invited Oyashiro-sama's servant. That was absurd. I kept groaning to myself that I would never accept it, ever. I obviously wasn't the only one suppressing my feelings. Mion and Rena were too. Everyone in the class was doing it. Rika-chan knew something about Satoko's situation, but she wouldn't tell us. Rika-chan still held a calm attitude like a cat basking in the sun. But she was being unbelievably stubborn about this whole thing. She didn't want to tell us, and that wouldn't change no matter how many times we asked her. Everyone understood that, so nobody questioned her.
リカちゃんが言わないなら逆に言わないってことは言う必要もない程度のことかもしれないし
I bet you it's because the dad's back and they don't want, and she doesn't want the dad and her to die. Because there's two people that need to go, right? And if they kill just Satoko, they won't have the other person. So they need two people. And if the father's back, then they have two people to kill. But I think Rika knows this maybe, and like that's why she's not saying anything. There was no persuasive power and reassurance given with an anxious face like that. Mion's almost demon face. Mion was being taciturn. She just looked up at the sky with a somehow annoyed expression. I couldn't tell if she was unhappy that Rika-chan wouldn't talk about it with her own friends, or if she was concerned over Satoko's well-being. What about me? My anxiety was suffocating me day after day. If someone else were looking at me, then maybe I'd look annoyed, like Mion did. Tap, tap. Someone tapped on my shoulder. It was Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun.
前原さんちょっといいですか
またボールが引っかかったか？今度はお前たちで何とかしてみろよ。いつまでも先輩に頼るのは良くないぜ。
It didn't feel like going along with them, so I was a little unsympathetic with my response.
ちょっと気になる噂を
噂？
はいひょっとすると関係があるかもと思って
About Satoko, they hadn't said that, but it didn't seem unrelated. They didn't want to talk in the classroom, so they pulled me behind the school building, lending further credence to that thought. The back of the school was damp and humid, like always. Students really didn't come back here because they wanted to. Didn't really come here, wanted to. It might, however, have been the ideal location for trading rumors away from praying eyes.
富田君、岡村君、その噂話って。
関係があるかはわからないですけど、あるいは。
里子は一体風邪なのか？それともひょっとして。
いえ、むしろ逆。うちのばあちゃんの昨日の昼にうちの店に豆腐を買いに来たらしいんです。
Tomita's family runs a tofu shop at Okumura.
豆腐屋さんに買い物？
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, sure. My voice sounds so stupefied, even I can't.
無理もないさ。
I was worried about what grave illness or injury she had when the person herself had been out about shopping for tofu.
で、里子はどうだった？元気？それとも病み上がりで松葉杖で包帯だらけだったとか？
いえ、別に病気とか怪我とかそういうわけじゃなかったらしいんですが。
I should have felt relieved that there wasn't an illness or injury, but my anxiety wasn't going away. Because Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun's expressions weren't looking any better.
絹ごし豆腐を一丁買っていったそうなんですが。
おかしい？なぜ？絹ごし豆腐を買って何が悪い？
irritated by how roundabout they were being. I had to desperately fight with that irritation creeping into my voice.
北条とフルデってほら2人ぐらいだから2人はいつも安い一番高い絹ごし豆腐なんか
木綿だって絹ごしだって
So
どっち
the
も豆
dad's
腐だろ
bag. Did I call it? I think I
た
called
ま
it.
にはうまい豆腐が食いたくなった
それはそうですけど
This wasn't anything trivial, it was some kind of important clue. Not the cheap firm tofu, but the expensive soft kind. Shopping not in the evening after school, but in the middle of the day. Couldn't figure out what those things meant. As I thought hard about it, Okumura-kun took his turn to speak.
次はこれも噂なんですけど帰ってきたらしいんですよ
Where's Satoshi? If Satoshi's back, I'm gonna, flip my whole desk.
帰ってきた何が
Not really. Because I'll break everything.
誰が
And I could imagine that he's...
北条のおじさんが
Okay. Teppy. Isn't it Teppy? The uncle, aunt and uncle are the ones that are terrible to them, right?
去年のお社様のたたりでこいつヤクザみたいな怖くて乱暴なやつで
I'm not sure who's who in the... I know that Satoshi's the brother. I forget. I think Teppy's the uncle, I guess? I was under the assumption that it was the father, but definitely the uncle, probably. I think he said that after their aunt was beaten to death by a deviant, he ran away into his lover's house in Okinomiya in fear of the curse.
そいつが帰ってくるとどうして聡子が学校を休んで真っ昼間に絹ごし豆腐を買う羽目になる
My underclassmen clammed up and looked downwards. There must have been some big hint buried in there. Even if I didn't understand, if I told Mion or Rena about it, maybe they'd know something.
せっかく好意で話を聞かせてくれたの
あいえ北条が重病で寝たきりになってないことが分かっ儲けもんじゃないですか
Okay. That might be true, but it still won't make the clouds over my mind fade away.
あ前原さんほらあれ
Kumar-kun cried wildly, pointing over my shoulders behind me. Startled, I turned around, and on the other side of the schoolyard, near the school gate, I saw a figure trudging forth. It's a weird look to have, Satoko.
北条だ
I burst into a run faster than I could speak. So that, as quickly as possible, I could see with my own eyes that she was okay.
聡子
Satoko seemed to be taken aback by me shouting and running over to her.
まあなんですの圭一さん突然大声を出して走ってくるから何事かと驚きました
バカ俺のことなんかどうでそれよりどうした俺心配で心配で
心配性ですわねたかだか3日ですわよもう圭一さんは心配性なんですから
Listening to her, she seemed like the normal Satoko, but I could tell she was clearly acting strangely. Her smile was somehow forlorn, and her complexion was bad for some reason.
北条大丈夫だったのかよ風邪とかじゃないのか
Tomita-kun and Ukuma-kun both expressed their concerns.
一体どうしたってんだよ3日も俺がどれだけ心配してたか
ごめんあそばせですわちょっと
Okay.
お家のお掃除をしたりしてたんですのよだいぶ長いこと使ってませんでしたからもう家中ほこりだらけ
はあ聡子なんで家の掃除なんかで学校を休まなきゃなんないんだ
Satoko didn't answer me. Instead, she passed by me and headed for the entrance.
もう今はお弁当の時間ではあります私はお腹が空いてますのよ
It was certainly lunch break. I couldn't force her to stop after she told me she wanted lunch, since she was so hungry.
まあいいやリカちゃんは3日間毎日今日はちゃんと食べとにかくみんなを安心させてやろうぜ
そうですわね皆さんにご心配をおかけしてしまったかもしれませんあはは人気者は辛いでございますわ
Sure is tough being popular, she said. I put a hand on Satoko's shoulder and we ran to the classroom together. Up close, I was able to verify that Satoko looked somehow weak. All this anxiety was supposed to go away when I saw her again. That's what I had thought. But now I actually started to have quite different fears. What the heck happened, Satoko? Everyone in the class, of course, reacted in the same exact way I did. We worried about you. I'm glad to see you well. What were you doing for 3 days? Our classmates showered her in questions.
本当にご迷惑をおかけしましたわね。
As she cackled, she chowed down on the bento Rika-chan had made for her. Those in the teacher's lounge must have been informed of Satoko's arrival because the teacher sprinted into the classroom, her breathing ragged.
道場さん。あら先生、3日間もご心配をおかけしましたわね。ご覧の通り元気でピンピンしてますわ。もう本当に心配してたんですからね。お弁当が食べ終わったら職員室にいろいろとお話があります。3日もサボったからきっと大目玉に違いありませんわね。
Satoko laughed sheepishly while she scratched her head, and the rest of the class burst out into laughter. The teacher was acting angry, but she breathed a sigh of relief at seeing Satoko healthy and smiling as she ate her lunch with the classmates surrounding her.
でも安心したよな、レナ。
あ、ごめん。無事でよかったよね。
I looked at Rena and knew she had a sense that something about Satoko was off too. I looked to see Mion detached from the clamor as well, with a somewhat grim expression. She knows. She knows, dude. She knows that the father's back. Satoko and what's his name are dead. The uncle? But Rika-chan, on the other hand, was smiling from ear to ear. She spread the bento boxes one by one as Satoko finished them. Finally, Satoko was satisfied. After enjoying a thorough conversation with her classmates, she remembered that she'd been called to the teacher's lounge.
めんどくさいんですけど、行かないともっと怒られてしまいそうですからね。僕も一緒に行きますですよ。
Satoko rises from her seat and Rika-chan runs over to her.
ごめん遊ばせケイチさん。ちょっと怒られてまいりますわ。
おう、なんだったら俺も一緒に。例のカレーの悪口の時、一緒に職員室で怒られた。
それには及ばないのです。ケイチはここでお留守番なのですよ。
Rika-chan's words were gentle, but the firm rejection was clear in her eyes. The two of them exited into the hallway, walking shoulder to shoulder. After seeing them off, the class breathed a collective sigh of relief, broke apart, and went back to their usual lunch break banter. We, however, couldn't go back to how we usually were. That's because Mion is on top of the detective work. Rena's fucking crazy in this one. Not I, not Mion, and of course not Rena. They stared at the classroom exit Satoko and Rika-chan had left through, their expressions a little distant and grim.
俺たちは仲間だ。そうだろう、みんな。
I blurted out something so strange, so Mion and Rena turned around with dubious
俺は
expressions.
仲間にだからさっき聞いたばかりのことを言う。
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh. Why would you say this to people? Why would you say this to people? Tomita-kun and Akomura-kun trusted you with the secret, and you betrayed their trust.
これが俺の知るだからミオンもレナも俺は俺の知るすべてを話したぞ。
別に私は隠して黙ってるわけじゃないよ。
It's not like I was trying to keep it a secret or anything. Mia couldn't seem to endure her silent stares. She began to talk timidly as if she was guilty of something.
でも ケイちゃんが話したなら。みーちゃん、何か知ってるの？いや、さとこのおじがこの間の日曜日にふらっとひなみ沢に帰って。
どうしてそれを黙ってた？
ごめん。
Angry shout caused Mion to flinch away, look down, and hang her head uncomfortably.
ケイチくん、怒るような。みーちゃん怖がってる。
あ、ごめん。つい大声を。
Lowered my head in apology. Is this where they accept me into the demon club? Cause I'm down. Like, I'm done being in Demon Hut Juniors. I want to be fucking all in the demon club. Mion accepted it, like, please insert me. I don't want to be there. According to her uncle's relationship with his lover, whom he'd been with in Okinomiya, her Okinomiya had collapsed. Without anywhere to go, he went home to Hinamizawa. And on that Sunday, the day of the barbecue, her uncle ran into Satoko and brought her back to their house. Why did he bring her with him? Because he's a good-for-nothing parasite. He can't even cook by himself, much less do any cleaning. But he brought Satoko-chan back to have her cook and clean? I remember that she said she'd been cleaning the house when I met her back at the school gate. A moment later, the pieces fell into place, into the jigsaw puzzle of unease. And as for what the puzzle depicted, then I saw it from afar. I could see the answer clearly. Satoko was locked up at home, tormented into doing the housework.
噂なんだよ。
I knew that. Why didn't you speak up? I nearly yelled at it, Mion, but hastily stopped myself.
みーちゃん、それ私がこの目で確かめたわけじゃないから、本当かどうかは知らないけど。
Mion looked down again, and staring at the floor grew quiet.
去年みたいに意地悪なおじさん夫婦のところで暮らしてた時みたいに。
でもさ、そのおじさんって火事はからきしなんだろ？
I don't like that face because it's like so close to the demon face, it's not even funny. like, oh, did she just turn into a demon? No, she's good. She's just doing her blank stare into nothingness. But this uncle is completely helpless when it comes to housework.
サトコが重宝なわけだから、何もひどい扱いをしているってわけじゃないかもしれない。
ケイチ君、何を根拠に言ってるのか知らないけど。いい加減なことは言わない方がいいよ。
And they clearly and directly got mad at me. You don't know much about this, so don't talk as though you do. Yes, that's clearly what she meant.
じゃあレナは知ってるのかよ？
私だって知らないよ。今ここで聞くまで。さとこちゃん、でもね、1年前とはまるで状況が違うの。
状況が違うって？
サトシ君がいない。サトシはいつもサトコをかばって意地悪なおじおばのとばっちりが少しでもサトコにかぶらないように。家には意地悪なおじさんとサトコちゃんが2人きりなんだよ。それがどれだけ行き詰まるものか、ひなみ沢に帰ってきた理由だって。そんな不愉快な理由で帰ってきた人がどうしてサトコちゃんに優しくできるっていうの？
She was right. It wasn't easy for me to imagine Satoko not being tormented.
ごめん。
あ、こっちこそごめん。問い詰めるような口調になっちゃったね。
And you're a demon, Keiichi-kun. Follow us into the secret code of demons. Let's go. Finally, we heard the principal's bell ringing. The teacher came back with Satoko and Rika-chan at her side.
さあさあ、委員長、号令起立。失礼。
Couldn't resist, or I couldn't read anything from Satoko's vaguely sheepish expression. but given the clouded look Rika-chan was wearing behind her, it was tough to laugh off the disquieting story I'd heard from Mion. Alright. For the first time in a while, everyone's been here. Yeah, perfect. Indeed, in times like these, the best thing to do is obviously get rowdy and scheme against one another in a club activity. Sounds stressful, actually. I don't know if that sounds like fun. Mion laughed happily and took a bunch of games out of the club locker and lined them up on the desks. I think that was the first time Mion's ever let someone else decide the game on a game for her. I could tell she was being especially considerate to Satoko, thinking that whatever her circumstances, if we could just enjoy our time together as a group, that would be some sort of comfort, some diversion. Satoko seemed to understand her feelings too, and smiled vaguely, though pleased, but her head slowly moved from side to side. Even Rika-chan hung her head in remorse. Jesus.
おいおいおいおい、部活メンバーが久しぶりに揃ったっての。敵前逃亡は罰ゲームってのは海賊第何条だ。やめなよみーちゃん、無理に付き合わせちゃダメだよ。別におじさんは無理強いしてるわ。ただ大盛り上がりした方が絶対に楽しいと思って。本当にお気持ちだけで嬉しい。ご安心なさいませ。次に戦うときは皆さんまとめてでっかい罠にはめて。
Satoko, while insulting us, still said she couldn't participate in the club and apologized. She quickly put away her things into her bag and pattered out into the hallway, disappearing. It all happened in the blink of an eye.
Satoko.
Rika-chan stared lonesomely as her friend hurried home, unable to be part of the club activities. Silence filled the classroom. Both the cheerful voices of our classmates in the schoolyard and the voices of the cicadas sounded like they were coming from some faraway world. The silence was broken by Mion's bitterness as she began putting the games on the desk back into the locker. Everyone just stared absently at Satoko's seat, now empty.
Rika-chan, そろそろ話してくれてもいいんじゃない？
Rena made a gentle smile as she possibly could and spoke softly to Rika-chan. Without even hearing it from her, we pretty much knew the situation at this point. Satoko's uncle had broken up with his lover and come back home to Hinamizawa. And he had taken Satoko home and forced her to do all the household work. And that all had to be pretty rough on her. Thinking this was common knowledge to everyone, I skipped to the important part. Maybe Mion and Rena wanted to ask the same question. Nobody spoke. We just all stared, waiting for Rika-chan's reply. Rika-chan still didn't answer us. We were hoping for her to say no, but her silence was a bad enough sign.
去年だっけ、おじ夫婦の元にいた時もこんな状況だったんだろう。
Look at how close that is to demon face.
あの時は夫婦喧嘩のとばっちりみたいなのがほとんどだったからさ。
They were mostly just being caught between their aunt and uncle fighting.
こうして部活で時間を潰して家にいる時間を極力減らすのも一つの手だったんだけど。
He's making her do the chores now so she can't stay at school either. Shit, Satoko's not a slave. Who do you think you are, ignoring your own inability to live properly and basically putting Satoko under house arrest?
常識的に考えて、このいろいろと状況証拠は必要だろうけど、こういう警察とかに通報できないのかよ。
そうだよね。証拠とかがあれば警察にあるいはそういうのって沖宮の相談所の人とかに相談できないの？
Rena and I kept saying police, police as though it were nothing, but Mion's response sounded like she thought we were a little naive.
みんな簡単にそれを立証するリスクを考えたことある？
リスクって なんだよ。
一昨年の冬かな。通報したんだよ、沖宮の相談所。問題があるからすぐに何とかしてくれ。それで電話してすぐに職員の人で、聡子とかサトシついでにおじ夫婦のところ。
サトコとサトシに聞くまではいいが、おじ夫婦にまで聞くのはまずいんじゃないのか。
両者の意見を聞いて総合的に判断するんだとさ。で、結果はどうだったの？様子見。
様子見ってなんだよそれ。
Uncle really studied up on this stuff. By law, you can't call it abuse unless someone admits to assault or child neglect. They poked and prodded Satoko and Satoshi a lot, but never left any real marks on them. They were pretty much eating 3 meals a day and had beds. And there weren't any recordings or something like that to prove they'd said or done something to cause them physiological trauma or psychological trauma. Physiological. None of the villagers had ever actually seen them being violent either. No matter how mean you are, you wouldn't act so violent in front of other people. Nobody would.
で、その後としばらくは毎週決まった日におじ夫婦も自分たちが見張られてることを気にして目立つ行動はしなくなったらしいけど、それで済むわけないでしょ普通。
They ramped up how malicious they were being. The inside nodded.
おばのやつが女特有の陰湿さっていう相当いやらしいことをしてたらしい。聡子、最後の方は呼吸するだけのボロ人形みたいだった。
So what? From that conclusion, does that mean they should never have contacted the child welfare in the first place?
わかった？誰の目にも明らかな証拠がなかったらむしろ状況を悪化させかねない。あれは失敗だった。
After hearing that, even public organizations, the one thing they thought was dependable couldn't do anything. Everyone hung their heads. In other words, until we have clear evidence of abuse, we shouldn't notify anyone. Well, I mean, basically, yeah. What about Coach? Hit up Coach, dude. Coach will fucking punch people, dude. I considered Satoko's current situation. She was brought back to her house. It was a little difficult to call that abuse. She was being tormented and forced to do the chores. How she was being tormented would be the key, but without concrete evidence it would be difficult to prove. If she had some kind of external injury, that would work. But as far as we could tell from today, she had nothing like that. From being forced to do the chores, that was a bit weak too. There had to be better evidence that she was, without a doubt, being abused. I know. Her uncle had ignored Satoko's existence for a whole year and went to live with his lover in town. Didn't that fall under one of the definitions of abuse that Mian had mentioned earlier? Or mentioned? Child neglect? Perfect case of child neglect. What about that, Mi-chan? If her uncle weren't here now, then it could be recognized as child neglect, but he's living with her at the moment, isn't he? Yeah, but wait. Okay. So, I don't know. He had to change of heart and decide to live with her. Then they might just wait and see again. Once we reported it, we would need to be absolutely sure they'd interpret it as abuse. We needed far more concrete evidence, lest we repeat last year's mistake.
なんだか。ということはつまり、しばらくは黙って見てろってこと。
The only plan I could think of was, in the end, just watching and waiting. It left me in shock when I realized that it would be the same policy as that of the officials who had made the situation worse. As Mion said, reporting it to a public agency would be a gamble. If we're going to pick a fight, it'd have to be one we couldn't afford to lose. If we were gambling without any money, without enough evidence, our defeat would be assured. If we took the time to amass enough money that we would be sure of victory, that would mean pretending we didn't see Satoko's plight for a considerable amount of time.
こんなところで話をリカちゃんはどうして一人暮らしができるんだ。
Rika-chan had lost her parents, if I recall correctly. From what I heard, she had no relatives either. She was forced to live on her own as a result, but her life was unfettered, free of restriction. She could somehow grant that freedom to Satoko, too.
リカちゃんって 両親いないのに生活してるだろ。
Yeah.
圭一君、それひどい。
That's not cruel, that's the truth. That's a thing that happens.
悪口で言ってるんじゃねえよ。
Yeah.
そこにサトコを救うヒントがあるかもしれないと思って聞いてみただ。リカちゃん、気分を害したならごめんな。
It's just a thing that happens. That's rude. That's cruel. What the Get the F out of here. Rika-chan shook her head. That's a thing that happens in real life.
それはですね、実は村長さんちの子供になっているからなのです。
補足がいる。村長の君吉のおじいちゃんがリカちゃんの保護者なんだよ。
Okay. So you're adopted. Not adopted. You can be someone's guardian without being in the same family. Oh, I get it. Rika-chan lives by herself, but by law she's considered to live with the mayor, right? Yeah, basically. That's how Rika-chan avoids being sent to an orphanage. Actually, it would be Child and Family Services, not an orphanage. Meep. I don't understand the hard things, but anyway, she's right. Okay. Interesting you should say that, Mion. You can be someone's guardian even if they're in another family? Then shouldn't we have the mayor or someone else become Satoko's guardian, if only on paper? Then she'd be in the same position as Rika-chan. But she could go back to her old life. Too bad it won't work. I mean, her uncle is supposedly her guardian. Wait a minute. You lost me there. What's a guardian exactly anyway? In legal terms, a guardian and a parent weren't necessarily synonyms, so whoever was actually looking after her at home would be considered her guardian. Then her uncle isn't her guardian. Left Satoko by herself for so long. But if he insists that he's her guardian, that's it. It's been a few days since Satoko was taken back to her house. Is this where I get adopted? We have to go kill Teppei's freaking Hyojo? And freaking, oh my goodness, that would be crazy. And then Satoko's just dead already because of the abuse. And then we have to demon her away. Oh my god. I called the plot. No, that's not what's gonna happen. That's too convenient. That's such a convenient plot that I don't think it's gonna happen. That would be amazing though. If I like call that. He's sort of looking after her, so he'd probably insist. Even though he abandoned her for a year, he'd already looked after her for a whole year before that. But the mayor doesn't have that kind of history. So then, if both the mean uncle and the mayor requested guardianship at the same time, the uncle would make more sense. Nobody'd have a better chance. The term guardian refers to the person actually caring for her, right? The uncle actually has a bed and food for her, but the mayor would just have his name. It wouldn't even be a contest.
じゃあ、村長がもう一人、サトコの生活の面倒を見てあげたらいいじゃないか。
Why are we talking about the mayor? Give it to Coach. Coach already decided. Coach was already like, I want to adopt her. We just needed to shelter Satoko. That might lead back to her uncle being desperate to take her back, but we'll stubbornly refuse him.
そんな簡単にはサトコは育ち盛りの人間一人の面倒を見てくださいなんて。
じゃあ監督はどうだよ。
Yeah, what about Coach?
よくは知らないけど自分で言ってたくらいなんだし。
Even if he's not the real father, Coach will become
監督なら
a guardian.
サトコの面倒を立派に見てくれる気がする。
だからサトコをペットみたいに考え。ケイちゃんはさっきからサトコを誰かに押し付け、人間一人の生活の面倒を見る責任ってものをもっと慎重に考えて。
I'm confused.
監督に聞いたの。
He said.
サトコを引き取って面倒を見るってちゃんと確約を得た。
Yes.
そんなの得てない
He
よ。
was like 100%. I've been thinking about
で
adopting
も
her.
監督なら絶対に OK するだろう。
Agreed.
100歩譲って監督が OK したとするよ。
The zero probability, girl. Do I?
でもダメなんだよ。保護者は独身じゃダメなんだよ。
That's right, Coach. Didn't he say it himself? He was alone, so he couldn't do it. Shit, what the hell? Why is being single such a disadvantage in this society? Then all you could do is marry into a wealthy family, couldn't she?
ひなみ沢にそんなお金持ちは難しそう。
ね、 簡単じゃないんだ。人間一人引き取るっての、誰かに押し付けようなんて短絡的な考えがそもそもダメなの。
Freaking just get him a girlfriend. I guess it's more complicated when you have to marry someone off to. Yeah, it's
考
whatever.
えが浅いんだよケイちゃんは。
I'm not being naive. He said it himself. 0%
なん
chance.
なんだよ畜生畜生。俺は必死に里子を救おうと考えてるのに、お前ら仲間のこと本気でどうなんだよ。
そんなつもり。でもそう簡単にはいかない。
そんな難しい話じゃねえだろ。裕福な奴が里子をしばらく面倒見て。そうだ、ミオンチはどうだよ。お前御三家とかいう立派な家柄なんだって。話じゃものすごいでかい家。
うち無理。そんなのバチャが許してくれるはず。
じゃあ沖宮に住んでる。聞いた話じゃこっちもかなりの町には親類の経営する店がたくさんあるぞ。立派な資産家じゃないかよ。おい
ダメ。沖宮の家なんてもっとダメ。うちのお父さんそんなの絶対に許さない。
おい、普段は散々大物ぶりを自慢しといて、ここ一番何なんだよ。お前里子を見殺しにする気かよ。
そんなつもりはないけど、そりゃ私だって里子を助けてやりたい。でもそれとこれじゃ
話が違うってのか。冷てえやつ。仲間の危機だろ。ここで救わなかったら何なんだ。部長だろ、部活の。救えよ仲間の危機をよ。今ここで救わなかったら仲間じゃねえ、人じゃねえ。
What the This happens every single. This exact scene has happened both times. Am I wrong? Where Keiichi just loses it and is like, "You're the fucking problem. Get out of my fucking life. Why don't you care about the situation that I'm in right now?" It's like, Jesus Christ, calm down.
お前の人間性が問われてるんだよ。
Jesus.
聞いてるのかよミオン。
Calm the And I didn't even get it. Yeah, it's happened in like literally every chapter. Why? Like, control your emotions a little bit. Like, just a tiny bit.
Nani さっきから黙り込んでんだよ。聞いてるのかこの野郎。どうなんだよ。なんとか言ってるよ園崎ミオン。
みー
Ian, looking down with a grim face, began sobbing. Alright guys, it's about 52 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was hoping to be accepted into Demon Kind, but it looks like I just blew all my chances. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Also, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Lots of visual novel and roguelike content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys later. Peace out, guys.